Hello everyone, I'm Peggy Richard, Director of Communications for DFCU Financial, and I'm here today with President and CEO Ryan Goldberg and First Citrus President Jack Barrett. They're going to talk to us today about some of the pressing questions we all may be thinking as this transition goes forward. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Peggy. Good to be here.
Thank you for having me.
So, Jack, what do you hope to accomplish with the First Citrus visit this week, and tell us what's taken place so far?
Thanks, Peggy, for the time, and thank you, Ryan, for hosting us and your leadership team.
Glad you're here.
It's this is a real pleasure. As far as accomplishments, I don't have any specific quantitative outcomes that I'm seeking, but the core of our business model has always been on the qualitative side, and that's the prelude to those desirable quantitative business outcomes. And so we're really just here to connect. We want to connect with the associates here in DFCU, and we've already started a little bit of that this morning, and it's pretty outstanding.
So where are we currently with this very important transition, Ryan, and how does the timeline look?
So we're making very good progress. There's two big things that we're working on. One is the regulatory approval and working with all of those that are going to impact the process from Michigan and from Florida and some of the national organizations. I would tell you, Peggy, that we are ahead of target. We've been efficiently submitting all of the necessary documentation, so that part is actually going very well. The second big piece is we're working on the integration between the two companies. There is at least 15 work streams that we have going on, and there's leaders from both organizations that are driving the integration process. That's given us an opportunity for each of the teams to start connecting on the specific things that need to be accomplished before we close and before we convert. So from where I sit today, I think we are either on target or ahead of target depending on the initiative, so it's going very well, which honestly is a testament to the team, the partnership, and how they're working together.
Excellent, that's great to hear. What went into establishing that new org chart that we posted on SharePoint? Can you give us some background on that?
Sure, so we're fortunate as a company that we have outstanding leaders on both sides, the First Citrus side as well as the DFCU Financial side. What I wanted to do was bring clarity to how is this organization going to run as we go forward as one entity. We're leveraging the strengths of both company, both from a support and administration standpoint, as well as a sales and business development standpoint. So those are the things that we took into consideration. We're also going to have very strong regional leadership as we go forward, which again is a testament to the people that we have that can lead this company forward to grow the organization and to make sure that all of our key stakeholders are represented, most importantly, the members. So it was leveraging the strengths and experiences of both sides of this transaction to put the best leadership team forward to drive our success.
Jack, tell us what challenges you might perceive about bringing the two cultures together. What is First Citrus known for, and how do you see that tying into DFCU Financial?
Sure. Thank you, Peggy. We, no two cultures are ever identical in any two companies, but with DFCU and First Citrus, there is a tremendous amount of overlap in terms of shared values. And if you give us shared values, we can make the music work. What are we known for? I would just go right to the word you mentioned is culture. Our culture stands on its ear, and it's because we have a bit of a, it's not a banking model per se, but it's more of an upside down org chart. We're intensely values driven, and we have high strategic clarity in terms of what we are here for and our roles. And when you have that decisioning and being able to execute, you can flip that traditional Western managed org chart upside down, and you can unleash a lot of internal synergies with some really smart people. And so that spills out into our operating performance in that regard. And so we're known for speed to market and operational flexibility in terms of execution in the street. And the way we do that is by collaborating. We collaborate on steroids, and we're all constantly learning from each other. and we have to constantly learn from each other. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck with Jack's stale ideas every day and the flavor du jour, which will get old pretty fast. So.
And how do you see that combined well together
So-
with what you know about DFCU so far, right?
Yes. Again, it's back to collaboration, the culture that both organizations have, and that's why, to your point, how is the transition going? It's working really well because there are common beliefs, common values, and I talk a lot about this whole shared value concept, which is us doing the right thing for the organization, the employees, the members or the clients in our community. So that type of shared approach is really working in this whole process. One of the things that differentiates DFCU is the brand pride that our employees have for our company and strong operating performance, which has hence given us the rankings that we've had historically over the last 2 decades in terms of our peer group performance. Those are common things that we see between both organizations, which is not only going to serve us well to get to close, but it's going to serve us well as we grow a new market as a combined company and that we continue to build and grow the organization.
How is business run currently at First Citrus, Jack, and what will change? Will First Citrus take on our products and services? What will be the same? What will be
I
different?
sure hope so, because DFCU, they're exemplars in the consumer banking arena. And that's something that we have avoided, not because we haven't yearned to do it, we have been, but the compliance risk, and unless you do it in scale, it can be a labyrinth of complexity. And so we so yearn and want the wealth management and the retail platform in terms of a consumer banking presence. We're a commercial bank, and we love to help and serve the business community because there's less trick boxes from a regulatory standpoint, and plus we enjoy that space, but we're leaving a lot of meat on the table here because we haven't been able to accommodate the full suite that DFCU does in their sleep and can provide as afterthoughts. And so we think we'll do a lot more good for our clients, our members. And so we're pretty fired up about that. And our model is like this. There's a tremendous amount of mutual goals and objectives. Our branch managers and our business bankers, they lock elbows and they go close both on the deposit side of the balance sheet and the loan side. And they are boots on the ground out in the market. I know Ryan's boots on the ground out in the market since he's been here in Dearborn, and I am too. And that helps us read the tea leaves better in terms of positioning our company, and so we're not having to rely on quantitative output, which are lagging indicators. We're heavily involved. Our heads are heavily involved. What's around the corner before it's broadly understood to the masses, and that's how we manage. That's how we lead, and that's how we try to position our organization.
Will DFCU's business banking look more like First Citrus then, Ryan, would you say? Or-
So understanding that one of the most attractive parts of this transaction for us was to acquire an organization that was in a high growth market, which we accomplished with the partnership with First Citrus. The second piece was to build on our commercial bank. This was something that we have started that's evolving, but Jack's team has built their organization with a highly successful commercial platform. He's obviously going to be leading that function for the combined organization. So we're looking to learn from his organization, how he built that business and commercial bank platform so that we as a combined entity are that much stronger. So there's definitely going to be things that team adds into the equation, and we'll decide as a team what is the best model to implement as we go forward. But there's certainly going to be many, many things that his team has been successful in doing that we will add to our commercial
We don't
platform.
have the monopoly on good ideas, and we're not exemplars of Six Sigma and process design. And so I know that we'll take the eclectic elements from each of our organizations and be able to have 1 + 1 = 3. And that's really why we're here, and we're excited about that.
It's a great partnership because we're doing our side great, you're doing your side great, and we both can put them together for...
And both companies are full of great people that are doing the right things to achieve those results.
CEOs
It's not
are a
necessarily,
little suspect, but the rest of the folks are pretty good. So.
but it's so important to achieve results in a certain way that you can be proud of what you're doing and how you're doing it. And that's what I think the strengths of both of these companies are, despite the CEO
Yeah.
issues.
How are any of these changes that are occurring right now, Jack, being communicated to employees and your members, and how would you say this merger is being perceived by them?
Well, I think extremely well, because when Ryan and Mark came to our company on May 12th, and they looked everyone in the baby blues or the baby browns, and we went to every office in the company. We stopped at every department in the company, and we communicated truth and conveyed authenticity and sincerity. And so I'll say this: there is the level of motivation in a company can never rise above the level of trust. There is a high level of trust that's been established in our organization, and we're getting the same from Ryan and his leadership team in terms of that high level of trust. And I already know how that movie ends in terms of operating performance and growth, by the way. But how is it being communicated? So we have Sarah and Aaron in our marketing and social media, and they are putting it on Instagram and Facebook and things that I'm not necessarily versed in, and YouTube as well. But there's an internal portal for our associates in the company, and they can hit us up with any anonymous question they want to ask, and we're going to give them the unvarnished truth. And so, but my favorite way, like, we've been to all of our offices multiple times and just done check-ins. And so that's my favorite way to communicate, because it removes any, and we do emails and the social media, we leverage that, and the videos, and also not a video too, bank-wide. But yeah, I'm surprised they haven't given me sandwich boards yet to walk up and down Del Mabry. But if it'll be effective, I'm sure they'll put them on me. So.
Yeah, I looked at the employee portal and the questions and answers that they were asking and you were giving, and it was really thorough and comprehensive and came across very honestly. So I've got to believe they
Thank you.
appreciate that approach. How much will DFCU employees interact with First Citrus employees and members over this next very transition phase?
So the biggest thing that we're doing now, to what I shared earlier, was around the integration work. And it was great to see how many people were meeting for the first time. They've been working together on video, but building that face-to-face relationship was starting as soon as those team members hit the ground yesterday, which was a good thing. So there's going to be a lot of interaction, going forward. As you think about it, we've had some visits in market. Those will continue, both at the employee and at the customer level. As we move forward towards the actual conversion, we're going to need more and more people from DFCU to be on the ground to support. So we're going to do the things that we believe are necessary in terms of creating the communication forums, whether those are online, video, whether they're in person, to make sure that this is a highly successful transaction and integration, both for the employees and for the clients. So many, many different opportunities will be available, and really appreciate the passion and the support that our team has already demonstrated to help make this work.
They've gone above and beyond, and there's a lot of heart, just walking around and visiting with the associates, the employees, and DFCU, and you could really sense that gestalt, and that's a beautiful thing. So.
That's great. That's great to hear. So, interestingly enough, Tampa was just named one of the top destinations for the next year for people moving there. We know the statistics about millennials going there. Detroit was named one of the top 50 cities in the world by Time Magazine. So also kind of neat that they both got those recognitions. Can you discuss opportunities for the future, Jack, in Florida or, with Tampa?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's nothing more predictable in business than demographics, and the demographics for an extended period of time have been quite favorable, and they're emboldening in terms of migratory inflows. And so when you have increasing population densities, of course you have increasing opportunities in terms of for financial institutions to be able to capitalize on that. And so the future is really, really bright, extremely bright, and and we don't have any state income taxes. We have a pretty good climate in terms of weather-wise, and our infrastructure is coming along as well. The downtown St. Pete market, they've really done a terrific job of master planning their central business district and integrating the professional office. And Tampa has been fast followers too, because it's finally coming of age in our downtown central business districts area as well. And so it's a very, it's a very vibrant, very robust. It's got that it factor, that feel. And so, but you're also seeing that in the pocket communities of West Central Florida too. So there's a tremendous amount of positive, community leadership, civic leadership, civic pride in our state. We're very proud of our state. And obviously with the Phoenix of Detroit is amazing, and they're rising from the ashes there with their, the game we were at yesterday, and to see all the pedestrian traffic up and down, was that I don't forget the name of that street that was on that.
Woodward.
Woodward. It's really spectacular. So what's unique is that we're both in these stages in the cycle, that there's going to be a lot of synergy growing. But I'm hoping you guys don't usurp our population migration, because this place is becoming cool really fast. So.
Well, and it's interesting, so many of our members are snowbirds and come to the Florida market, so I'm sure they'll be pleased to be able to stop by the local DFCU branch in
Absolutely.
Tampa
You bet.
and meet your staff. Ryan, can you talk about, are these first steps between First Citrus and DFCU, first steps in a broader expansion, or is this pretty much it for a while? Can you address that at all?
Sure. So our primary focus is going to be to support and grow our core Michigan footprint, similar to what we're doing with the add of the Rochester Hills branch later in the year. But we're fortunate to have partnered with First Citrus, and that is something that we view as an entry point for our growth strategy in that higher growth segment in Florida. So there's a couple of different ways that we can approach that. One, and the one that's most in our control, is organic growth. So the people that are on the First Citrus team, organically growing new members one at a time, finding the solutions that make sense for them, both from a commercial standpoint and a consumer standpoint. The other piece of it is going to be opportunistic. So as I've said many times to our team, because of the performance, we control our own destiny. We have the ability and the right to grow and do things that we think are going to be strategically valuable to the company. That could come in the form of new branches that Jack and I will talk about. Where should those be over the course of time if an opportunity presents itself? And it also gives us an opportunity to look at credit union mergers or other bank acquisitions as well. So these are things that we'll evaluate in parallel with each other. Every day, the Florida team is going to be focused on growing their base of clients, and then we'll start looking at some of these other strategic initiatives that make sense if they present themselves. But there's a clear commitment to the core footprint in Michigan, as well as supporting our growth market that we're really happy to be in Tampa.
Well, I want to thank you both for being here today. It has been great talking to you. Great really hearing these insightful, impactful answers. I'm sure all the employees across both footprints will really appreciate learning as we go along, and this will be one, I hope, of many opportunities that we can talk to you and hear about the progression. Thanks for tuning in today, and look for more of these communications going forward.
Thank you, Peggy.